Hey there, cutie companions. That's Britt.
That's Tiff.
And welcome to Quick Car Cuts, where we see a movie in the theater.
And then talk about it in the car right afterwards.
Hence, the car.
And today, we saw
Companion. We actually were going back and forth on whether or not to do a car cut for this film, because it was a lot less horror than we were expecting.
Yeah. And in that respect, I think I'll give the trailer some credit, even though I'm sure we're going to talk about the trailer at some point.
It makes me mad.
I'll give it some credit is because it just kind of gave you colors of what happens in the film, and I think that in a lot of ways, it was really good at making you curious as to what would happen. But we ended up deciding to do it because I do think it qualifies in some way as a horror film. So it's not, your regular slasher or monster kind of movie, but it is certainly in that same realm. So here we are.
It's definitely gory, and it does have certain parts that you're like, ooh. So, I mean, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I did feel horrified at some points.
But was it for the correct parts?
For the parts that, look, I firmly believe that the filmmakers wanted me to feel horrified at the parts I felt horrified at.
It was so I think overall starting out, I enjoyed this movie.
Oh, yes.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my things is when I see a movie is like, do I want to add this to my DVD collection? Because I'm a big believer in like physical media, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna get everything that I ever might think of watching. Companion is definitely one of those that I think I'm gonna add to my DVD collection, and that I'm really gonna like to watch again. That's for sure.
The part that I kind of went into Companion being a little angry, and this is not a spoiler because they reveal this in the trailer. So the first trailer gets you so interested in this movie. You don't really know what's going on. You think is it a serial killer movie? Is it like a hostage situation? What's going on? And it ends with her holding her arm over a candle, and she's sobbing while her arm, and you're like, what is going on that this woman cannot pull her arm away? Like, I need to know. And then in the second trailer, they reveal right away she's a robot. And that's why. And to me, it suffered from the Abigail syndrome, where don't reveal that the character's a vampire if you're going to spend the first hour wondering what's going on, and then try to make your big revelation that the character's a vampire. Same thing with a robot.
Here's my counterpoint to that, though. I think that with Abigail, you have the situation where it took like 40 or 50 minutes before we got to the vampire thing. And it really felt like, with such a big part of the marketing being about the vampire thing, it was really stupid to take so long to get to the vampire thing. We're all here for I'm here for the vampire shit. Where's the vampire shit? Can we stop, beating around the bush? This isn't fun anymore. And that's probably a marketing fail, because it seems like a lot of movies these days just lay it all out there.
Everything in the trailer.
My counterpoint is that the sex robot thing is brought out to the open early enough in the movie.
There are hints throughout, from the beginning.
But even said outright, fully outright, everyone involved knows what's going on at this point, that it doesn't suffer the same curse that Abigail has. In this sense, the curse of Annabelle is that it's just a bad movie.
Companion, we're talking about Companion.
Yeah, that it doesn't have the same issue as Abigail does for me, because we didn't take 50 minutes to get to the vampire shit. We got to the sex robot fact within 10 minutes, and it's like, oh.
Was it 10? I feel like it was 20.
Maybe 15.
I don't know, we'll split it evenly.
Yeah, we'll say that. But whatever it was, for me, it's very clear that wasn't the reveal of the movie, if you know what I mean. So, I'm okay with it. With that said, I don't think there's a whole lot we can say about this movie and keep it spoiler-free, beyond talking about, performances, cinematography, all that stuff. So I would just say right off the bat that if you're thinking about going to see it, go see it right now.
I will put a warning out there for people that, obviously it is about a robot used for sex. So I kind of knew going into it that there was going to probably be some SA, and there is. And that was tough to watch. Thankfully, it's not very long. So just something to be aware of going into the film.
And it's not that it's very overt and violent, but as we all know, it doesn't have to be triggering or traumatizing. And I was personally uncomfortable, which is what I said earlier, like in the way that I feel it was intended to be. So yes, that is good to know going in. But to like kind of segue into kind of general spoiler-free talk, like, what's your overall impression of the movie? What are your...
We walked out of the theater and I went, I expected horror and all I got was trauma. So I think that talks about it, but I liked it. I felt it was very entertaining. There were points where you're like, ooh, that was good. I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for that. And you'd find yourself kind of going, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Is it a perfect movie? No, but there were enough points that I will definitely watch it again because it was enjoyable. There is some redemption. There is some, not redemption, what's the word I'm looking for? Vengeance.
That's quite the opposite of redemption. That's someone's redeeming their ass-kicking coupon.
Pretty much. So, it's a very satisfying watch to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall it's a very satisfying watch. I felt... How do I put this? I felt like this was a very good film-going experience.
It's a fun time watch.
It's fun because it's also funny at times.
It is a lot funnier than I expected it to be.
Yeah, in ways that you weren't expecting it to be. It is funny, so it really kind of walks this really great line, this mix of like a thriller with horror elements and like dark comedy, and it makes you question a lot of how you're supposed to view some of the events of the film at some times. I thought the look and feel of the movie was fantastic. I felt very inspired by Iris getting dressed today. I love the soundtrack. I love the color palettes.
It's a visually stunning movie.
It's so pretty. Like, it feels like comfort food. I don't know. That's the best way I have to describe it, is everything feels like it's in its right place. And the acting is really great.
We'll touch on that more in spoilers.
Yeah, the actors are great. I love the story because while I walked in afraid that I knew everything that was going to happen, I did not.
There were points that I kept going, oh, okay.
So, yeah. I mean, do you have other spoiler-free thoughts?
I don't know, because the main things I want to talk about are the main spoilers. So, I think at this point, this is your cutoff. If you do not want to hear spoilers, we'll see you at the end. But spoilers are starting right now.
Okay, I want to start off by saying this, is if I had a nickel for every time Jack Quaid played an initially kind of put you at ease, sweet, unassuming boyfriend who turned out to be a psychopath who was the bad guy in the end, I'd have 2 nickels. And they're really good nickels.
But it's just strange that it happened twice.
Yeah. He's really good at this. I don't know.
He is good at playing an asshole. Yeah. And I fear that he's going to get stuck playing the asshole a lot more.
But the thing is, it's not just an asshole.
He's either a dope or an asshole. And I like both of those for him. Like, he's great at both.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I want to see something where it's in the middle.
Well, let's talk about Sophie Thatcher.
So good. Sophie Thatcher did such a good job. The little tiny, like, minuscule things she would do with her face. Like, her lip quivers, her, like, nose twitches, her eyes, like, the single tear. Fantastic. She does such an amazing job.
Bringing humanity and complexity to the different stages of Iris, too, is just so good. And you're so rooting for her the whole time. like, I don't think there's a bad actor in this whole movie. Honestly, they're just so good.
Harvey Guillen has my heart.
Always a fan of Harvey Guillen.
I love Harvey Guillen so much.
Always love to see him working.
And I'm so happy that in this movie he got to be his flamboyant self, because he is so nice in person. Oh, I love him.
So happy for him.
Character of Patrick. Such an amazing actor. Again, the little subtle things, the way that, like, I could kind of see that it was coming, that he was also going to be a robot. But at the same time, he played it so well that you're like, oh, honey.
Yeah.
And then when he turned violent, when he had to, like, redo stuff, when he's learning to love again, like, he did such an amazing job of holding me in those moments with him. Fantastic.
So good, honestly. What I was talking about earlier with the timing of the reveal. So I think this actually works, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
In the trailer, you're right, the initial trailer, we don't get a lot. We just get enough to be intriguing, like, what kind of relationship is this, and what's going on. And in the next trailer, it's like, oh, did you jailbreak your sex robot? And you still don't exactly know what's happening. So it really leaves you in suspense about a lot of things. And knowing that that was what she was a companion robot. And so all the lines made sense. And it was okay by me because I felt like I was in on it now. And the way they kept talking about it, I was like, does she know who she is? But I'm like, how does this work, though, that they met? And so I had questions. And I think very quickly in the movie, they got that all out of the way. They sat down and they're like, hey, this is what you are. And now the problem of the movie isn't, does she know who she is? Does everyone know who she is? It's, she's now fighting for her life. And now you're like, oh my God, but are Eli and Patrick bad people? Oh, shit, Patrick's a robot. Shit, Eli's good with this? And wait, Eli and Patrick seem like they're actually in love. And oh, fuck, he's dead.
It was such the back and forth constantly. It was great.
Yeah, and then as it goes on, you realize, oh, he's just fucking incompetent.
And crazy.
And that's hilarious when they're wheeling Iris's body out, and they're like, oh yeah, they record everything. It was in your user agreement. You read that, right?
I love that the tech knew from the beginning this guy is bullshitting. I don't care. I don't get paid enough for this. Let's take her.
Oh, he modded her. He's so screwed.
For a fact. And he was just like, yep, all right, let's go. I'm trying to think and the shots too are beautiful. Like, I love I think my favorite shot is them backing up and then seeing Patrick in the windshield, and then all of a sudden they're just talking and Patrick whips out the gun. Like, I was like, what's gonna happen? So
some elements of it felt Terminator, but I feel like that's unavoidable, you know?
I feel like there was a good mix of predictability, but also keeping us on our toes, because there were things that obviously I guessed along the way. My favorite was, I was
she's
like,
so proud of it.
Rules of threes. I'm like, that corkscrew is coming back, baby. And it came back in the best way.
Yeah, it really did.
I just turned to Jim and I'm like,
oh, excuse me. We need to start seeing these movies earlier in the day.
We did. It's like 9 o'clock.
We went earlier for us, but we still went to work today.
That's true. So I got up at 4:30. Anyway.
It's a long day.
Oh boy. I'm trying to think. So we talked about music you really liked.
Loved the music. I loved the music. I loved the design of things like Iris's clothes, which when
they wheel in her racks of clothes, I was like, yep.
You get the accessory pack, you know? And she, I just love her style, how she's a little bit different from everyone else in what she wears, and I love the setting and the way things were shot. I especially appreciate that we got the disgust of the SA scene without the visceral nature of the assault.
It was still really tough for me personally to watch. Like, I had to look away, but I appreciated that they didn't take it farther than what they did.
Right. Because what he was doing was enough.
Yeah, it was enough. And it very, very realistic. So, I will say...
uncomfy.
It was very uncomfy. And this movie is about abuse. It's about abuse of power, abusive relationships, abuse of trust, and it goes into dark things without it being a super traumatic experience, I think. Like, there are some things that are tough to watch in that movie, but also there's enough vengeance that you're like, oh no, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. There's some really great questions in it too. So at the point of having the artificial intelligence, because he's literally throwing her against the wall, like, I am part of you. Like, that is pretty in your face in terms of a metaphor of abuse, but also in terms of, like, AI and who she is. A huge part of her construction is memories of him. But, like, if that's where you come from, there's still, like, the concept of building your own person and your own humanity in that. So aside from the AI question, but even, like, returning to relationships, the person can be a part of you for a long time, but that doesn't mean that they define you or they get to control you or own you. And that's the part where he really snapped, is when she's like, no, I'm not coming back. And he goes, no, baby, we can come back. And, like, she knows it's a lie. He knows it's a lie. She goes, no. And that's the final straw for him, is that the robot that he not even bought, rented apparently, rented to be so obsessed and in love with him, like, doesn't
Denies
want
him.
So it's not even about love, it's just control.
Oh, of course. The saddest part to me in that whole film is during the final climactic fight, and he has her pinned down, and he's like, I don't care if it's a lie, I need you to tell me that I am your world. And he needed to hear that, and as soon as he did, he just kind of relaxes, and it goes to show how unstable he is, that he doesn't care that it's a lie. He needs to hear that to get validation for himself, and that's so sad.
Insecure, thinks the world's against him, all this stuff. Now, when the movie starts and you see them together, you're like, they're kind of cute. Like, this is sweet. Like, he's kind of flustered by her, but there's always, like, little things that kind of tip you off that he's probably not the best boyfriend. And aside from the fact that, he's really not standing up for her immediately when they get to the cabin, the smash cut to them smashing and him arriving, he rolls off of her, rolls away from her, and just immediately turns out the light and goes to bed. And I'm like...
See, my red flag came from just smile and pretend to be happy.
Well, yeah, obviously, that's one of those earlier flags, but if you had to get more obvious about that, even if this was a human woman, he's still a really shitty boyfriend.
Oh, totally.
And she's just like, I'm glad you're happy.
I just want you to be so happy.
And it broke my heart, because I've been that girl at some point in my life, with a partner. I'm like, I'm so glad you're happy. I'm happy if you're happy. It doesn't matter, But it does matter. I'm here to tell you, it does matter.
I think ultimately it's about definitely finding yourself and finding your worth. And the fact that she got total artificial intelligence... Oh, fantastic. You're rooting for her at the end. When she drives away, the only thing I wanted was for her to put on a glove so that way she wouldn't get caught.
I think, okay, but that's okay with me, because
she's happy with her hands.
Yeah, because it's her true self. It's who she is. But I think that it's also okay, like, she'll pass for that, because we have all sorts of artificial limbs. But, like, the way she was, like, trying to wake up that other model in the car next to them, they're like, wait a minute, you look familiar.
That was a really great ending shot of, like, you see, I'm like, it's the same model.
Yep.
It was very good.
Oh, I want to talk about Eli and Patrick a little bit.
Okay.
So, I feel like there was something there that was interesting, of, like, this is where you question what's real with love, and their love especially, because Patrick has kind of said, hey, like, I know I'm a robot. Like, I know. And, like, they have this conversation in the woods, and it seems like Eli really does love him.
I think Eli does really love him, and it's along those lines of just because something isn't, I don't want to say it's not necessarily true, but like, look at the movie Her. You can fall in love with something that might not be a person.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that those feelings aren't real. It just means it's going to be way more complicated.
Right. It raises a lot of questions as to what, like, the actual nature of the relationship is. Because you kind of get the sense that maybe Eli and Patrick have a similar relationship to Josh and Iris. But you don't know, because you don't spend a lot of time with them alone. But then also, does it really matter? Because Patrick's love is based on false memories, and that's what he's programmed to do and everything. Is it built on actual mutual trust and affection? And it also doesn't matter because Eli's kind of a piece of shit.
But it's Harvey.
Harvey's not a piece of shit.
No, Harvey's not a piece of shit.
He's playing a piece of shit. I'd like to say that Jack Quaid probably isn't a piece of shit, too. I'd like to think so.
I'd like to think that.
I kind of want to meet him at a con now just to prove that he's not the guy that he keeps playing in these movies. Anyway, no, because at the end of the day, the relationships are complex, and if you want to sit with this movie at a deeper level, you can. You don't have to. But if you sit with it at a deeper level, you can really kind of think about, you know, is that a real relationship because of how it started, but also does it matter because he's a shitty guy and no one's perfect, and then they were going to blame it on Iris, but if he doesn't think Iris is a human, what does he think about Patrick? And
the amount that this movie just kept snowballing because they had this plan. They're like, we're going to blame it on Iris. Great, okay. Well, then something goes wrong. Okay, well, we'll blame that on Iris too. Okay, then something goes wrong. We'll blame that one on Patrick. It's fine. We'll just, nope, that one's gonna go back to Iris. It's fine. Shoots her in the head. Everything's good. Nope, she still has that. Okay. Patrick, I need you to go kill those people. Okay, we're gonna blame that one on Patrick. And it just kept going and going and going. And you're like, what else is going to fucking happen?
Right, because when, like, you see the trailer and you see her, like, walk in the room covered in blood or whatever, you're like, oh, this is, like, halfway, maybe.
Oh, no, that's the beginning.
Yeah, you're like, oh, maybe this is, like, halfway through the movie when the tension builds and everything. Like, no, this is, like, the inciting incident of the whole movie. And then I was very pleased to find out very quickly that they were planning it. They did set her up, because I was watching it, I'm like, something's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can tell, and I'm like, oh, please, I hope, like, I didn't figure it out so early. But the movie's not really trying to hide it, and so I'm, like, really happy. I'm like, okay, well, then we figured that out. What's gonna happen next? So that's what I mean by, like, I don't mind the trailer so much, because that's just basically the inciting incident, and that's it. And I'm like, oh, this went a lot further than I thought. So, really great.
Anything else you want to touch on?
Go see the movie. That's what I want to touch on.
I feel like it's good either way. It's good if you just want a really fun vengeance story. It's fun if you want to sit and really think about what it means to be human, what it means to have a relationship, and what abuse is. Either way, I feel like it's a good time. Watch it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that clip I keep seeing of Jack Quaid on TikTok. I think it's him who's like, yeah, it's a good date movie. Or maybe it's not a good date movie. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. That's funny.
I'm like, I don't know. This is not a touchy-feely, good time Valentine's movie. Then again, neither is Hard Eyes.
No, but we'll watch that,
But we're probably going to be seeing that, too. But yeah, I think it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. And I want to watch it again. And I want to sit with it and think about it. And just enjoy it.
So, great music, great aesthetic, good acting, kept me on my toes, while also still being predictable enough. So I think I am going to give it good music, great aesthetic, good acting. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 switchblades.
Oh, okay, yeah. 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10 switchblades. I thought it was really good, damn near perfect. I would absolutely watch it again, add it to my watch list. I really do think we need to do like
End of the year wrap-ups.
yeah, because
totally.
because I always find myself having better, like, more in-depth thoughts about a movie much later.
So thank you guys for sticking through with us. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe and comment below on what you would like us to do next.
And oh yeah, keep an eye out, because there are some really good movies coming out in the next couple months. We are so excited about it. Tell us what you're excited about, and tell us what you thought about Companion if you saw it.
Who was your favorite character and why?
Mm.
Anyway, that was Britt.
That was Tiff.
And thank you guys for watching Quick Car Cuts. See you in the next one.
Bye.